Thank you so much for that. Welcome and thank you everybody for coming to stand with us, others, and as a united community to make a stand and send a loud, united message that we are serious. I'm Alyssa, this is Emily and Bryony. Along with us is Aaron from CJAG, an organisation and a team of lots of other locals who have helped us to where we are today. And sorry guys, I am so green at this, you'll just have to bear with me, okay? Yeah, so we're just giving some acknowledgement. We have not gotten here by ourselves. We have gotten here with the help of Aaron and his organisation and another bunch of locals who reached out, and they have really rallied behind us, so we're so grateful. And we will call on Aaron at any point where we feel like we're struggling, because he has a lot of expertise in this. Obviously, us girls are just normal, everyday girls, just workers, and have zero experience, but a ton of passion and a message to send with all of you that have come today, and hopefully a lot more. I spoke to lots of people that wanted to come today, and unfortunately we're working. It was such short notice, just 4 or 5 days to get the message out. Some housekeeping and making this environment safe for you all before we begin. Didn't realise that's a massive part of this. So dehydration is a real concern, so we need everyone to drink plenty of water, and watch out if you see somebody struggling beside you, just reach out to them. We've got a first aid tent behind us here, so we've got, thankfully, Gilligan's and Daniel Hannigan donated us a heap of water for the event, really short notice. So yeah, just reach out, and thank you for donating that to us as well. We'd also really like to acknowledge and thank the local police for coming and supporting us all today. We personally have received a lot of support from them in creating this opportunity for all of you, and we are unbelievably grateful. And not only are they here to keep you safe, but this affects them greatly too. So please, if you need help getting someone to first aid, be sure to come get a hold of them and they'll help as well. So also with the first aid is a victim support tent. So a group of them have volunteered today, and they will be operating 2 functions pivotal today. 1, today you're hearing voices of victims of crime. In our community, this can be triggering and an emotional event, and we do want you to be prepared that you might hear things that can be triggering. We do have support systems in place if you need it, but the second operation is we want the people of Cairns to have their own voice as well. So you can come up and register so that you can get up and tell your experience and what you've been through. We also have a secondary platform, because obviously with a lot of people we can't have the time for everybody to speak, but we've still got a platform that we're creating where you will be able to have a videography session with them and tell your story, and we're going to put it on a platform, the Voices of Cairns, so that we can have our voice even after today. We also want to thank the community leaders that have come out here today to hear the people. There's quite a lot that I've met so far and that have reached out in support of the community. So they're actually here to hear the people speak today. Please be aware though, if you are stepping up to talk as a victim, we do have videography and media. And it may be something that is uploaded to social media, so we want you to think about that before coming up. Okay, so we have I'm lost. Sorry, guys. Okay. We have some really brave and strong voices coming forward today. They'll be speaking about things that have really affected them. This is all about giving them the voice, because a lot of the times people feel like they don't have a voice at all. And we're going to have all of our community leaders that have come to be able to hear. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. So, hello? Yeah, so as I said, we're amateurs. We're just local women that are...
So we can get it going. As I was saying, we're going to have some really brave people stepping up today to tell their voices. We know that can be distressing, and there's a lot of emotion in the town right now. There's a lot of emotion through the community, and that can be overwhelming, but we do ask that everybody be very respectful. And we have family members, we have children, and we want to share our voices, get our message across, but we also want to respect everybody that's here at the same time. So certain words you might think, would my child like to hear this at an event? So we're just asking you to keep that in mind. But we do absolutely understand that the emotions that everybody in the community has been going through are very strong, and they come with extremely strong emotions. So we work together as a community to try and stand that and be united. So later, after the voices of Cairns have spoken and our community leaders have listened, we will give them the opportunity to get up and speak. But today is our time, and it's our message to take a stand. And we thank them for reaching out to hear our call and turning up to support us and hear this. I'll pass you over to Emily to tell you how this got started.
Hi guys, we are just few local women who came together on the Girls Advice page up here, and after watching the community constantly express their concerns about the safety in their own homes, we felt no one should feel the need to sleep with a weapon under their pillow at night or be vulnerable in their own home. So that's really just our message today. Hey. I'm Bryony, West Fire. I would like to thank every single one of you for showing up today. The support has been absolutely outstanding, like breathtaking. There's been times where I have not been able to breathe, and it's made me recognise personally that this is not just affecting women, it's affecting children, it's affecting the elderly, it's affecting our men. And I'm so proud of every single one of you for showing up today and showing the support to not just us, but also to Cairns. This town has a heart of gold, and hopefully the collective rage that we have here today, will be led with peace, love and hope for change. We deserve to have our golden city back, and thank you again for every single one of you. I'll try to yell a little bit louder for you. Sorry, I'm trying to get it together. As I said, this is our second microphone that's not working, so I'm just going to have to yell. We have a lot of people, we've got some guest
speakers that have, we need this working for our next guest speaker. We've got some speakers that will be stepping forward. Their stories will be touching. There's a message that we want our leaders to hear, to take back to where it needs to get back to. We're not here just to talk, we're here to get our message across. That's what this is about, to send a message to the people that we need to go. We're not going to take it anymore, that we want change and we're sick of being terrified. And we're going to try and get that to happen, because I'm not going to stop fighting even after today. For me, this is just stage one, step one, and it's been a very quick event, so I expect a lot more people next time. Our first, our victim speakers that are going to be stepping up, our first has a lot of courage to be stepping up today, and a lot of courage to be coming forward. Yeah, I really want this working for my very courageous people that have stepped up to speak to you guys today. So I definitely want this. I want their voices to be heard, and I want it to be loud. So the very first speaker that will be stepping up today is a speaker that is representing the couple from last Friday night. It's very courageous, and we're going to bring her, Ella, to the forefront. Is that Ella? Sorry.
My name is Ella Shannon Morta. I'm standing here on behalf of my beautiful friend, the woman that experienced this horrendous crime. She is not in attendance today, but she has asked me to share a statement upon her behalf. Before I do that, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Giveaway Wallabarri Indigenous I have previously managed the sexual assault service in Cairns and now work as a private counsellor. In my line of work, as other therapists, healthcare workers and frontline workers here today would know, we hear horrific stories regularly. And yet, when something like this, which is so out of the ordinary, touches someone close to me, I am deeply affected. As a friend, as a woman, as a partner, as a daughter, as a fellow human. Whatever your thoughts might be on this issue, I ask you to remember this message comes directly from the woman who has catalysed us all to be here. Please listen with respect to her words. She has said, this is a big and complex issue, and it's hard to know what to say so soon. So I'll start with saying that sexual violence has devastating impacts for victims and survivors, and for our families and communities. What happened to me last week was horrific. It should not have happened to anyone. It should never happen again. But until we start talking about all the parts of accountability and justice, sadly, it might. People are worried for their safety, and the community is grieving, angry, and scared. These feelings are real and valid. Great harm has been done. Like other victims, I want accountability and I want justice. And this means different things for different people. To me, it means that sexual violence, which is highly gendered and primarily committed against women, is recognised and treated as a serious crime by the justice system. It means that perpetrators of sexual violence are held responsible for their actions because there is no excuse ever. And for me, accountability and justice for what happened last week should be as much about prevention as about punitive action. I don't think we can talk about this like it's an either-or situation. It should be as much about addressing the reasons that led to such horrific acts as it is about the punishment. So for me, accountability and justice is also about putting evidence-based policies in place. It's about support for community-led diversion programs that stop this before it starts. It's about justice programs that include restorative justice. And it's about seriously tackling the societal issues that lead to people offending. She says, I don't believe we can just jail our way out of this if we truly want a safe and just community. True justice goes beyond retribution. It is about fairness, accountability, and creating a society where harm is not just punished, it is prevented. As you let the gravity of my beautiful friend's words sink in, I remind you that she has not let this unimaginably horrendous experience turn her towards hate and malice, despite what she must be going through. Her words are full of justice and hope. Regardless of your opinion on this matter, I trust that you feel through her words, her resilience, her courage, her strength and fortitude. Please join me in putting your hands together to show your support, your care, your love.
Thank you so much. That would have taken a lot of courage to come to put together for us today. We send a lot of love to her and also to her husband, because this would be a very emotional time for him as well. It's hard to just move on from that because it's so pivotal and it's something that's really brought all of us here today. And it's one of the reasons that we're standing here, because we really want to get something done about this kind of thing. I have got another victim of crime that is going to come up to speak to you, because this is about getting their voices out there, because a lot of the times they're silenced through all of this, and it's usually focused on the perpetrator rather than the victim. So the next speaker is going to be Sky Foster.
I wasn't actually planning on getting up and talking today, but something changed my mind. There's so much I could say. We haven't got long enough. But I'll start off with, at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of November last year, I witnessed my neighbour, my female neighbour, being bashed and thrown in a car by her at the time partner. Driving off, she was screaming for murder. I knew she would be dead before the end of the day. I have been in violent relationships, and I will do whatever I can to help any woman in that situation. At 6 o'clock, when I was looking out the window and saw that happen, luckily I had a pen and paper, and I was able to ring 000 and give them the rego, the number plate of the car. The cops came to my place at 8 o'clock to get my official statement. It took until 11 o'clock before they actually found her with the perpetrator in a car somewhere here in Cairns. Apparently they hauled her out of the car. I guess it was to make it not look so obvious, but they put her in handcuffs. She was pleading that they didn't taser the perpetrator. Why, I never know. He is now in jail. Her bruises and her cuts have healed. And this, unfortunately, is the second time in 2 years that I have saved her from another guy as well, trying to kill her. The first time, he broke the back door, ripped it off its hinges, ran through the unit, and tried to strangle her while she was holding her baby. I live in Manura. I'm not living there through choice, it's circumstance. I'm in access housing, and I'm there because my ex-husband was violent at the end of our marriage. I'm there because of the domestic violence girls who then through access housing got me to where I am. What I have seen in the last 3 years would make your blood curl. Every day I white light myself when I take my dogs for a walk in the park. I have had a group of little boys, 9 to 12, hassle me in the park. I freaked out. I thought they could have just kicked me over and raped me right then and there, and nobody would have seen it. The police used to come through the block of units I live in. They used to come daily. It was organised through access housing. I haven't seen that recently. But I must admit, they do come regularly when I ring, because they know who I am and they know my circumstance. I'm the only white woman in an apartment with 53 units, so you can understand why I have 2 dogs and people keep an eye on me. Off that now, and just go back a little bit, I have been raped in this city. I have had a home invasion. I know other people that have been raped. And it's not going to stop until the mothers of young boys start bringing their sons up to show respect to every woman. Politicians can say all they want. If they've never experienced rape themselves, it's all very well to change things and talk about money for this and this, we need this new thing and this new thing. Let me tell you, the way to stop rape is death. In Singapore, they don't have rape. And I said to someone in Singapore when I was there a few years ago, why, what's the story? It is death. You are put to death if you rape somebody. I felt safer there than I do here. I've been in Cairns 35 years and I love this place, but it has become very, very dangerous.
Thanks so much for sharing your story. Obviously, when something like this happens in our community, it actually affects every single victim in a different way. And it's very hard to tell somebody who's going through that, certain words. So we are kind of asking with children here that we do keep it family friendly, but also getting your message across. But definitely do not want to diminish any woman or any victim's voice throughout this, and we're so glad that she came up and told her story for us. And this just shows to the leaders here
This is how much it really affects the community. Like, it doesn't just pass by. These people sit with this. It goes to bed with them afterwards. Like, it resonates. It rips through the community. You know, that's what brought us here, because we were on an advice page where people were talking about buying cattle prods and where they could get the cattle prod and what they could fortify with, and putting hatchets and axes underneath their bed. And I can tell you, we've got a massive knife in our bedroom. That's how it affects us. And that's what we need to get across to them. So it is a very emotional event. Our next speaker that's coming up, she has an extremely sad story. Her story, thankfully, has a little touch of triumph in it as well, and something that I think our community could look at, listen to, and benefit. So I'd like to welcome up Samara.
Good afternoon. Right, can everyone hear me? Yes. All right. Thank you for coming. My name is Samara Lavity. On the 19th of March 2023, my 20-year-old son, Declan Lavity, was brutally murdered at his workplace. Declan was working at BWS in Darwin. It was just before 8:50 p.m. on a Sunday night. The offender was refused entry to the store for not wearing shoes. Both the security guard and Declan told the offender that he could not come in due to the whole no shirt, no shoes policy. The offender's response: "How about I go get a knife and stab you?" He then pointed at the security guard and said, "If you get in my way, I'll stab you too." This was all simply because Declan was doing his job. Long story short, Declan was stabbed 5 times. 2 of those wounds were fatal. However, he managed to chase the offender out and save the lives of his colleagues and the other people in the store. He texted me, "I love you, Mum. I've been stabbed." He was gone within about 10 minutes. He bled out into his chest and onto the floor. He should have turned 22 2 weeks ago. Now, he's forever 20. This offender had been out on bail for stabbing another person. This stabbing was fully, completely unprovoked in any way, shape or form. It absolutely beggars belief that this sort of an offence allowed a clearly dangerous person out on bail with minimal checks and balances. As a result of this, I have worked and advocated and pushed as hard as I can for changes to the bail laws in the Northern Territory. Declan's death triggered several large rallies in Darwin and forever changed the landscape. On the 15th of October last year, bail laws were changed. They have been tightened up, making presumption against bail for any serious violence offence acts, and it now makes breach of bail an offence. There was a lot of work that went into the corrections and judicial spaces. The presumption against bail portion began on the 6th of January this year. Since that day, less than 2 months ago, more than 500 offenders have been taken off the streets. This is now the largest amount of people ever incarcerated in some form or another in the Northern Territory. And this is a result of their own behaviour. The root causes need to be addressed, but until that filters through, the community deserves to be safe. This law is now known as Declan's Law. Declan was born and bred in Cairns. I had to go to Darwin and bring my 20-year-old son home. I chose to cremate him so that I can keep him as close to me as I can. I know now that he is safe and he can't be hurt further, but we can. I still have him in the cremation box that I brought him home from the funeral home in. I am beyond terrified to transfer his ashes to the urn that I have, as that urn has a screw top lid. The cremation box is exceedingly difficult to break into, or open I should say. I'm terrified that we will get broken into. I can deal with losing material things, not that I should have to, but I am beyond scared that if I get broken into, offenders will open the urn and scatter my son's ashes around the house, down the sink, in the yard, just around the place. This level of fear is wrong. I should not have to be so afraid of putting Declan into a nice resting place. The thing is, a significant amount of these crimes that we are all going through, that we've all seen, are committed by youth on bail. We see it reported time and time and time again. Break-ins, property theft, drug-related crime, and as we have seen last week, horrific sexual assault. And even that, we only see a small amount of the incidents that are reported on by the media. In 2024, as per the Queensland Police statistics, 55,055 crimes were committed in the far northern region. That is a third of the population of the far north that has been a victim of crime in one way or another. Getting on top of this problem is going to take time. There's been too many years of low to no real consequences, and the deterrents have not been there. Mosman residents are now patrolling out on their own to try and keep their community safe. The police do their jobs, the courts let them out. It's a revolving door system, and it frustrates them as much as it frustrates us. I challenge any judicial member to see what they would do if they were one of these victims of crime. How would they react if they were broken into, if their cars were stolen, if they were assaulted, if their son was murdered? I guarantee the court outcomes would be vastly different. The current incumbent government now needs to follow through on their election promises. The community should be allowed to live our lives without fear, to go to the shopping centres, to be able to go for a walk. We have lost the lifestyle that Cairns is known for, and we don't deserve that. We aren't the ones who have committed these crimes. I will be lobbying in Queensland for Declan's law as well, the presumption against bail, and to make breach of bail an offence. We are seeing similar crimes here to what I've seen in Darwin, and it has to stop. As a community, we keep lobbying and we keep petitioning for the government to listen. Being here today shows how much the government still has to do to keep us safe. It is up to us to keep them to account. A 19-year-old offender on bail for a stabbing decided that he had the right to end somebody else's life, partly as a direct result of bail laws, the same as what we have here. This cannot happen again anywhere. I do not want anyone, ever, to have to experience what my family and my friends have been through. It has to stop. Thank you.
definitely going to try. This is about the voices of Cairns and the effects that crime's having on us. A show of hands, who here has been affected by crime directly? That's a lot. And who here felt like the perpetrator of that got their justice, got their sentencing that they deserve for the crime? Never. I actually can't see any hands there. It's awesome that these legislations are coming in. That's what we fight for. Unfortunately, I don't know what the purpose is for a legislation if once it's in the courtroom it's going to be thrown out, neglected and not looked at. How does that serve us? I guess for me that's why I'm here, because I know that there's sentencing that they can be given, but unfortunately when they go in the door they come out the other end just as quickly as they go in. I love that we're going to have more police on the beat, but unfortunately all I think is that perpetual circle is just going to go a whole lot quicker because there's way more cops to work through them, because once they go in the courtroom they're still going to be coming out.
And the police have to work with their hands tied behind their back.
It's the judges.
Exactly.
Take
Yeah,
the
we
money
have a
out
lot
of
of
their
support in
pocket.
our little group.
Yeah.
I'm
Bring in Judge Judy from America. That's it. She'll recommend the gear.
Emily has taken a lot of courage to be able to speak on the radio the other day. It was the first time that she was able to say to any of us that she was a victim. So please, yeah, sorry about that.
Turn the volume up, love.
Unfortunately, it's as loud as it can go, but I will yell more. Just remind me, go yell, and I will. This is very much a big step for Emily, so we're going to hear her story. I speak to you today not only as a concerned local, but as
Closer to your mouth.
Put your anger into it. Sorry, I'm really nervous.
We got you, you're alright, don't worry about it.
I speak to you today not only as a concerned local, but as a survivor of sexual assault. As a survivor of such experiences, I have really struggled throughout my life to feel safe again. And for me, my home is one of the only places I can feel at ease. But because of the horrific acts committed in Menunda last week, I'm reminded my home is not safe either. After reaching out to the community, I learned I wasn't alone, and we all don't feel safe, and we haven't for a while. So please, help our laws to help our kids, to help our community. That took a lot of courage. Myself and Bryony have been working alongside Emily through all of this, and we actually haven't heard her story until today. So that's how hard it is to actually speak up. So any of you people in the community want to have your chance to have a voice, that's what this platform is for. It's for the people of Cairns to have their voice on how crime has affected them, so that we can get that message to the judges, to the leaders here, so they actually know what they're dealing with, what we want, and what people are going through. They never get this opportunity to stand there and actually listen to a bunch of locals about how they feel, how it's terrifying them, how they feel like they need to fortify their homes. This is the first opportunity, and we've worked really hard to give it to the community so that you can get that voice out with them here to hear it. So if you do want to come up and have anything to say, you can come back here and register your name and we can call you up. And in the meantime, I'm going to share my story and I guess what drove me, to step up today.
like to start my experience off by apologising to the victim who shared the same perpetrator as me. Your friends who were present leading up to my ordeal approached me and asked me to stand with you in taking this to the police. And I always regretted my part cowardness for abandoning you in that courage to be heard and to speak up. I hope what I'm trying to do and achieve today for all of us and contribute in some way to my abandonment of you and your need to be heard and your justice will go to something towards fixing that. Part 2 of Coward. Part 2 is 15. At 15 years old, I knew perpetrators did not receive anything closely resembling punishment. I knew that coming forward would protect no other woman. For me, it was utterly pointless, and it was only going to be furthering what I had to go through. The abandonment of the judges protecting heinous crime perpetrators and abandoning victims' right to justice and the continued protection of the public in sentencing mean nothing to them. It didn't mean anything to them back when I was 15 years old, and unfortunately today when I stand here and the news comes on and I hear the sentencing, I see, oh my gosh, it still means nothing to them. You know, nothing's changed. I endured 6 hours of what I will not relive in my mind right now. One would think I would go straight to the police for help. At 15, I knew better. I picked myself up and I actually went to work and I hid what happened. That's what a lot of victims in our town, you don't realise, they don't say anything to anyone around them. They don't have a voice. They don't think, they can't speak out. They keep it to themselves. There are so many people like Emily today who have never had the courage to actually speak about it. And they know that even if they do, we're going to hear the media and they're going to talk about how that perpetrator was suffering from emotional issues because they had a knee that ruined their football career. That's how insulting it is. When my kids were younger, I actually made the TV be turned off for nearly 2 years. There was a good year and a half where you were not allowed to turn the TV on in my house because it wasn't the act of seeing these crimes on the TV. It was every time I saw the sentencing, I was so upset. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be so aggravated because all I would think is that we're nothing. We mean nothing. And they're not listening to us. It's almost like they're sending a message that, you know what, it's not really a big deal. But it is for the people who have to live with it. And yeah, that's why I'm standing up here today.
It is a big deal.
It is. So I ran from it. And I won't run anymore. Every time I see the sentencing of a predator, it enrages me, it churns my stomach, because it's never actually good enough. It's, yes, let's get them before this happened, but let's not forget, when I was a kid, I learned by consequences to my actions. I'm going to fight for everybody that's here. I am not a coward anymore. I'm a warrior. I'm standing up. And I'm doing this tonight so that every single other person, past, present, and future, because we all know there's going to be more, I'm doing this for you. Because I don't want you to feel silenced like we feel silenced. I didn't want you to feel like no one was going to fight for you and no one was going to hurt the person who did what they did to you to account. That's why you guys over to Aaron for a little bit, or I just take a bit of a moment?
Oh, that was powerful. Well done. Extraordinary stories. And I just wanted to give them a break or take up the position to fill the gap here. We do have another person that would like to come forward and share their story. So can I ask for Helen French to come forward, please, and take the microphone. Round of applause, everyone. This is a big deal for people to come and speak. Thank you very much, Helen.
You got this, Helen. You've got it. My mama warriorist. That last speaker encouraged me to come and speak my story. Thank you. Right up there? Yeah. Growing up as a child in this beautiful city of ours, Cairns, which I absolutely love and adore, I realised I was not safe within my own home, within my own community. Sexual assault was quite prevalent, not from strangers. It was always taught stranger danger, but was never taught that the people close to you sometimes you need to be aware of. Growing up, I could never speak out because that fear that the perpetrators will A, blame you, B, hurt your own family. These were friends of the family, friends of the community, often a couple of people who are high up in the community. It has affected my life immensely. Then growing up and realising I was not alone. So many girls and women and boys suffer sexual violence beyond their control. Then growing up and realising that so many other women in the society do not feel safe. I am a mother of 3 boys. I have taught my sons respect for women on every level. My 3 sons are the most beautiful men. Those who I can see in the crowd who know me and know my sons know how beautiful they are and how they respect women. This violence in the home and on our streets starts from the moment they're in the womb. You have to start there. I don't think, and I've been a big advocate for jail them, but it's not going to help. We need to start at the beginning of this. It's so complex on so many levels. But unless those of us who have had these things happen to us speak out, it remains in the shadows. And I won't stay in the shadows anymore. I too am a warrior. And I will stand. I've been through hell and back. Nothing scares me anymore except being broken into or being accosted on the streets. There are places I've been. Sky, one of the other speakers before, I've often been to her house, and I have too witnessed what goes on in and around those areas. It's scary, but I believe so strongly, not just men, but women, because women are the first caregivers, need to start teaching respect. Then the men follow. We are a patriarchal society, so they say. However, we all know, in a wonderful movie I love, but men are the head of the family. Yes, but the woman can make the head turn any way she wants. So, in that being said, every single person, really, is responsible for this community
that we live in. We see things on the street, call them out. Obviously, if you're safe, but tell somebody what you've seen. Because unless we report every single incident, it's going to keep going. But respect. That's my absolute message. Is respect needs to be taught. Schools, I wouldn't want to be a school teacher. Scary as hell. Discipline, and respect. Thank you. They're my main messages.
Thank you for finding the courage to speak up. Thank you, Helen. Obviously, the whole community, we're a collective of very diverse group with very diverse ways that we would look to handle this. I absolutely support all areas and avenues of rehabilitation and obviously prevention. But I guess in my stance, I'm a very big supporter of making sure that there is a message that's loud and clear to the people and to the perpetrators that any of these types of acts on our community actually will be dealt with. It terrifies me the thought that the message being sent to people that run around and run through our homes with knives and get let out the door on bail is that it's actually okay. So we're just creating a cycle of more and more.
That's what it is.
Yes, it probably is. We've gone somewhere, we've gone wrong. But we're going to try and get it back on track.
System is broken. They paid their wage and it's time they start doing their job.
And that's the voices of the people. You know, that's what we're here for, the voices of the people. It's for everybody to get to have their voice so that our community leaders that have actually come out here to listen to you can hear where you're coming from. I mean, home invasion is a terrifying thing, and when people lump that next to something like sexual crime, they think it's not, you know, they're not a lot alike. I personally know somebody who, well, we were talking just a week before the recent incident, and I was very concerned about how she was coping after the incident. She woke in the night with a bunch of people in her unit. She got up and chased them out. Turns out she's a fight, not a flight. But at the end of the day, this actually went on to affect her. 6 years later, she's still got an axe under her pillow, and she still can't sleep, and she wakes constantly. And that's 6 years, or just over 6 years on. After the latest crime happened, she lives in a unit block. She could hear thumping upstairs, banging. She got extremely concerned. Everyone was on guard. She grabbed her axe and she ran outside to protect the young girls that live up there. They were having a party. But I mean, you know, that's the emotion of it. She ran to defend. And at the end of the day, they were just having a party. But that's how on guard everybody's feeling. Like here's something and they feel like that's happening. And I think that our community leaders need to listen and they need to act, because we've got people that are weaponing up and running out of their house. So that means we're at a crisis point, and we definitely need you guys to listen and deliver that message back so that we can try and get out of this. I've got another speaker, guys, coming up for you, another brave person, and her name is Liz Richards.
Hi, my name's Liz Richards, and I've got my son with me, and this is about home invasion. This is about a home invasion that happened at our home a couple of years ago. I was running late coming home from work, and I'd called the children, and I knew they were already home, so I said, hey, I'm running late, I'll be there in 20 minutes, and of course 20 minutes turned into 30 minutes. I drove home, not knowing anything. I pulled up in my driveway and someone pulled up on the footpath at the same time, and two well-dressed men got out of the car, and I said, oh, hi. And they said, oh, we're detectives. Your house has been broken into and your children are inside. It was a very hard experience for a mother to know that your children had been at risk, and more so for them knowing the heinous crimes that are going on in our community. And I guess my mind went there straight away. My girl was 10 at the time and my boy was 12. Thankfully, we had talked about situations that occur, and the children ran into the room, hid behind a bed, got a phone and called the police after calling my husband. So I commend them on their courage, knowing that what was happening. My daughter saw them put the hoods over their heads and proceed to break into our home. There was 3 of them. Then it was obviously the police were there and they were fantastic at their job, and the detectives were very good. There was no judgment on the fact that I had left my children at home while I was busy working. I guess the investigation went on, and my bags, which is what they'd stolen, a lot of handbags, were found in a vehicle dumped down in another suburb, and that's how they got in contact with us. I guess the end of my story, though, is the fact that they were released. I'm not sure if they were on bail. I can't remember that story exactly, but the fact that they were known to police, they knew that they had stolen the vehicle, that my children could identify exactly. I guess that's the scariest thing for me, is knowing that the police know them. They know the vehicle, they know they're in the area, they know they're committing crimes, but there was nothing that they could do for them, and then my children ended up victims. And obviously we ended up that way as well, because my children would not remain home alone for, it's probably been a year, but after a year they've started to have the courage to stay together alone. But I guess they've got that fear now, and I can see it when we walk down streets, and you know, there's some, I guess, behaviour going on in the street. They're concerned about that as well, and when they're walking from place to place. So I guess that's what I want to come up and say, is that when they're known, when they can identify who they are, but there's nothing they can do about it, as in the police, it becomes very frightful for a parent. I'm not concerned about myself particularly, but it's when my children are subjected to it at such a young age. That's what I want to change. And I agree, it's not just about jailing them, but we have to do something in the meantime to make sure it doesn't happen again and again while we work out what the preventative is. So that's what I'm here for, and that's why I've spoken today. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. This morning I had a gentleman, because this is all about community and us looking out for each other as well. That's what I'd like to start. I thank our neighbour for letting us know that someone was at our car last Friday night. So we need to be a community. We had a gentleman drop in this morning with something that I think would be really beneficial for the community to know about. Is this the turn? These are some pamphlets of an online app. So I've got a lot more information about it here. But pretty much you put yours in incident. So if you see somebody in the street, an incident happening, you pin it straight away, and everybody else who has subscribed to that app gets a ping, so they're notified as well. So you will get a quick notification, and you will know everywhere where something's going down. And I think at the moment, that's just something that is brilliant for us, because we're all trying to look at how can we stay safe in this situation. We're wondering what's around the next corner. This is something that can actually give us an opportunity to, if you see something, put it on there, and somebody else can see that within 6 seconds, I believe it is. So that's pretty quick. So
This is if you want, you can come up and get a pamphlet of this later. I think it's something that the entire community could benefit from.
What's the name of the hat?
It's called Community Crime Prevention and Disruption Act. Sounds good. We Watch is the actual thing. So it's got a little QR code on it here, but it's called We Watch, but they stand for Community Prevention and Disruption. I like that.
Legalise pepper spray.
Yes!
Legalise
got nothing.
but nowhere else.
I know. Then you spray in their eyes.
If you Google it in the Girls' Advice app, you will find there's quite a few concoctions. We've got Liz Taylor coming up. Is Liz Taylor in the... Hello, how are you?
My home invasion experience, which happened in August 2023. I live alone, and I wasn't home during the invasion, but I came home to find that my house had been trashed and the neighbour's house had also been trashed. It was, the experience was so devastating, and the difficulty of getting to the police, going to Police Link, doing all those things when you're terribly traumatised was very difficult as well. They basically trashed my house and they stole some precious things of mine. The police were very good, they came. Nothing after that really happened except that they found one perpetrator with some of my grandmother's jewellery, and they rang me up and I went to collect it, and they said the person was known to them. It seems to me that seems always to be the case. The people who are doing these things over and over again, there are no consequences, and we have to suffer the consequences of their actions. The police also said to me when they came to my house that because they didn't get my car, that they got the keys to my car, that they'd probably be back. So I moved out for 10 days until I spent a lot of money getting the key changed on my car, getting the keys changed on my house, and getting the keys, the electric gate manoeuvre changed. And sure enough, that night, the very night after they'd been at my place at lunchtime, they came back. And they did over the house across the road. Now, one would think if the police have told you they're likely to come back, that maybe there's an opportunity there for them to actually come and have a look and patrol, because they would have actually caught them in the act again. As a consequence, I also now, in the last 18 months, I spent money on improving my security. I wasn't terribly keen on getting Mac cameras and things like that, but I got shot bolts in my back door, I got shot bolts in my bedroom door, and I had wasp spray and an air horn. Next to my bed. And I got a dog. He was the only highlight that came out of the experience. So that's how I live. Every night I lock up every door, every louver and every window in my house. I lock myself into the house, I lock myself into the bedroom, and then I can actually sleep because I know I've got the wasp spray and the air horn. And I walked around all the neighbours and said, if you hear my air horn, please come and save me. I don't feel I should have to do that. We need change, and we really need it urgently, and these perpetrators need consequences to their actions, and if they're juveniles, I believe that the parents need to be held accountable too. I mean, what's a 12-year-old doing out at 2 a.m. at night? It's not acceptable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your story. I hear that one a lot when I'm discussing this. I had the opportunity as a teenager myself to meet a lot of street kids and get to know their actual personal stories, where they've come from. And there were definitely some kids that were rat bags that come from really troubled homes in that situation, and you can understand how they went there. But there were also a large proportion of them that had pretty awesome parents, and they were just, something had set them astray. So that's one of the reasons that I really feel that it doesn't help us to blame always the parents. What we need is we need things in place while they're younger so that we can see it, recognise and do something about it. We've got another...
Give parents no respect and give parents back their rights.
And I also felt with her, I mean, I've been telling my partner we can put a chainsaw in the room because all the neighbours will hear it and they'll run. And that'll make me feel safe. So we've only got, a guest up next and 3 more, and then after that we're actually going to be moving on to hearing from our community leaders that have come out to support us, any of the ones that want to step up and speak after listening to today. So the next one is Sharon Guest.
Yes, my name is Sharon Guest. Mostly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Everybody can hear me? Yes. Okay. My family has been the victim of crime. My daughter was stabbed at Peace Lutheran by a student, a fellow psychotic student who was mental and shouldn't have been there. That's not my story today. I'm not here for that. I'm here for one reason. We are victims to something that we should not be victims to. It's all about the victims. Now, I've had adopted children. I've adopted 3. I have fostered children from very young ages. And I have seen that the damage is done. It's done very early. It's not in the first 3 years. It's done in the womb, as one other lady, I believe her name was Helen, said. It's done there. Now we talk about rehabilitation programs. We demand justice. We want them to be locked up. We do. Do the crime. Do the bloody time. I see it all here. But where is the cause? If we don't start looking at the root cause, and yes, there are decent families that have wayward children, but on the whole, the damage is done from early beginnings. Would you place your baby, your tiny defenceless child, would you place it in some of the homes that we have seen that these kids come from? No. Would you? No. Would you? No. No. So why are we doing it? And I believe that in years to come, politicians listen, because you know this, we will hang our heads in shame for putting defenceless babies. I have seen in orphanages around the world, the damage is really done very, very early. So please, look there. Stop spending money on things that are band-aid solutions. And we're fed up. I certainly am. Thank you.
Next up is Jasmine Liang. Sorry, I can't pronounce that one. I have done botany. Liang. Jasmine? Okay, if we haven't got Jasmine, might move on to the next. Oh, okay, sorry, she's coming.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jasmine. I have a small business myself, and in a lot of occasions, I have kids just coming in and helping me. I have a small business myself, and yeah, I have in many occasions that I have kids that just come in and help themselves with whatever they want, and what can we do? We can't do anything, and that is not it. I have 2 different businesses, and every Sunday I have a food van business as well. I have to fill up petrol over at the fuel station, and every single Sunday I see kids just going and grab what they want, and I ask the counter, and they said, and obviously everyone knows that they can't do anything about it. And I think it occurred about two months ago. Police actually went over to the petrol station, and I asked what happened, and they said they threatened to, put fire in the petrol station, something of that kind, which endangered their life. As what Declan, just now the lady that, yeah. So why is all this happening? So back where I come from, crime is very minimum. It doesn't mean no crime, but at the end of the day, I believe if we have a stricter law, like for example, if kids that is under a certain age, they don't just get billed or let out the next day or whatsoever, go for a reef trip or whatsoever. They go to homes, like boys' homes or girls' homes, where they get like really, really strict rules in there. And for example, even those that is over 18, those who steal, those who kill. Okay, so I am from Singapore. So if you steal, or even if you, let's say if I touch you, you get caning. It might be harsh, but what is the outcome? I feel harsher law will have lesser crimes. And I believe that also...
This is Australia! Criminals have more rights than the victim!
For me, but I'm really sad to say that sometimes I feel, shall I be the victim or shall I be the criminal? It seems that criminals have so much more rights than us victims, and we can't do anything. Like even if you go to Coast or Uli sometimes, you just see people just walk out with, unpaid goods. That's where I come from. The security will, grab hold of them, go into the room. Okay, be it at what age, if they're 6 years old, they're 50 years old, yeah, you'll get a criminal record. And I really hope that, this could happen here in Australia. So I have been here for, I would say 16 years. But when I first come here, I was 20 years old. And the law in regards of criminal is far more better than us victims. Yeah. And it has been so many years, and I really hope that the government or
that's what we're here to try and do today.
Yes,
I agree. We need to get the government.
Every single government knows about all this, but why are they not doing it?
Almost. So try and find out. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We've got 2 men to speak, which I'm really happy that we've got 2 men coming up. And then we're going to have our Mayor, Amy. So if John McPherson could come up.
Afternoon everyone, I'll try and speak up because I know it's very difficult to hear out the back. I'm just here today as a mug punter. The silent majority is an old term. Long time local in the Northern Beaches. I have 2 teenage kids, including a teenage daughter. Both myself, my family and close friends have been victims of youth crime, including violent sexual youth crime. Quick story, I'm going to make this very brief because there's a lot of talkers and I know the official speakers are coming up next. I'm looking forward to that. I've got a mid-50s-year-old family friend who, when her husband's away, she's sleeping with a knife. on my street. I've got a very close family friend's daughter, 22, locks herself in a room at night when she's on her own because she's scared. Close family friend over the back, she's a widower, 2 young children, raising them on her own, doing a great job. She's very afraid at night. Sorry guys, this is bullshit. We don't need to put up with this anymore. It needs to change. I don't mind saying I'm quite angry about this. I don't get fired up too often. I'm not on social media. I'm a bit of a dinosaur, as my kids put in that space. But the silent majority need to make our policy makers, our elected officials, our bureaucrats understand we need change and we need it now. I just want to quickly throw in regarding the police. We're fortunate enough to have some close, long-time family friends, some of them very senior police force members in North Queensland who have done a huge amount of service for our community for a very long time, some of it extremely difficult work. And I know for a fact, from the young to the old, there's a certain amount of frustration and fatigue in them because they're good at catching these criminals. They're pretty bloody good at catching them. They don't get backed up by the judicial system that comes up. My understanding is that we're talking about relative to us, and I'd love if there was 20,000 residents here today, but let's get a groundswell here, guys, because I know it's a relatively small amount of these little grubs that are causing this fear and this unrest in our community, and it can be fixed. We need policy change. I'm asking again our elected officials, our bureaucrats, our people that represent us, and our judges, thank you, but they need to be told what to do here, guys. They need the policy to change, and that's what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to hearing the talkers coming up next. I know you're here, Bob Catter, great to see you. Very old-fashioned, calls it how he sees it. Bob, you could be in a very unique position in a month or two, and if you are, please make use of that power that you may have to get the resources and the change to policy so we can have a change. Thanks very much.
The bus stop and she now does Muay Thai, and I love that she does that. And I sat outside with the knife to have my cigarette the other night because it was late and I couldn't sleep because I was organising this rally. Next up is Rob Drew.
Bit nervous about doing this. Okay, sorry. I've been a number of times. I've had to get up on a number of occasions, at least 3 or 4, and chase perpetrators away from our place and our neighbours' places. There used to be a saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. And unfortunately, I believe the way our laws and our rules from schools, etc., have gone is now we're reaping the seeds that we've sown. What also I want to put across to you is, and I think it goes without saying, but us blokes are just as scared as anyone else. I'm a big bloke, and when I get up to chase people away from my house, I shit myself. Right? What's worse is when those alarms go off in the middle of the night, I don't know what I'm confronted with. I don't know what the safety of my wife is or my family that might be visiting, and God knows what I would feel if I was alone, male or female, in a house and I had to experience the same thing. That is just too crazy to consider how you people are being affected when you aren't as well protected as potentially I am, and I'm still scared. So what's got to change very quickly is action to put these people into a place where they can't do any harm, get someone with the fortitude and the backbone to get on and address the root causes, stop the watered down rules and laws we've had in the past and start to think about the majority of people that are affected by these things. Mr. Crucifulli, a lot of us standing here today voted for your party based on the fact that you said adult time, adult crime. Yeah. Sorry, I got that around the wrong way. Adult crime, adult time. Okay? Every child in this country, unless they have an inability to understand what right and wrong is, should know by the age of 10 right from wrong. If you're 14 and you use a knife to rape someone, you know that you are making a conscious decision to perform wrongful acts. Hold the little buggers accountable the same way as you'd hold an adult accountable. Thank you.
That is such a great point. That was something I was trying to touch on with my media interviews when we were coming up to this. I think for a victim, I can't imagine that there would be any difference in the severity of the trauma, whether it was a 15-year-old or a 13-year-old. So this is about the heinous crime that they've done. Following up that one, we're actually going to have Mayor Amy Eden.
Hello everyone, I have a limited voice, so I'll do my absolute best. We're here today because enough is enough. Yes. We stand here today, thousands strong, because something is terribly, devastatingly wrong. Yes. Crime is not just a statistic. It's not just a headline. It's real people. It's real families. It's real businesses. And it's real lives that are being shattered. No one, absolutely no one, deserves to live in fear in their own homes, and that is exactly what we've heard time and time again today. But right now, we know this is our reality. For years, we have watched crime escalate. For years, we've seen repeat offenders go through the broken system. For years, our community's pleas have fallen on deaf ears. And for years, the system has been failing good, honest, and decent people like yourself. So let me say this clearly to those in power. Our community cannot wait. We need action, and we need it now. I acknowledge the LNP government and their commitment to reform. I acknowledge the work they have already done. And I acknowledge the member for Barron River for being here today. Well done, Bree. But make no mistake, we do not have time to wait. Because when violent offenders walk free, when repeat criminals are back on the street in a matter of days, our lives are being destroyed. So today we say enough. Cairns stands ready to be the first to trial new programs. Whatever it takes, our city can lead in the way of finding solutions and tangible outcomes. We need immediate intervention because we will not stand by while our city suffers. We will not stand by while innocent people's lives are living in fear. We will not stand by while lives are shattered and while good people feel powerless in their own homes. To those who have suffered, to the victims, and particularly to the people that have had the courage to share today. And to your families, and to those who feel forgotten, We see you. We hear you. And we will not stop fighting for you. Not today, and not tomorrow, and not ever. So to my community, my beloved community of Cairns, I ask this of you. Please stay strong, stay focused, stay united, and please look after one another, because enough is enough.
Thank you, Amy. I also want to just quickly send out a really big thank you to all those victims that did come up and speak. It takes a lot of courage to share your voice, and we're really grateful that you did it. Next up is our Barron River MP, Bree James. Alright, don't worry, I'm dyslexic. Let's go through that. Number 2's down there, not there. Deputy Mayor. Yes, Deputy Mayor Brett Holt is there.
Thank you, guys. Hey, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to these three ladies, Bryony, Melissa and Emily. In just 4 or 5 days strong this together, they've never put on a rally before. I'm amazed, because I've been to a few rallies in my time, and I've never seen as many politicians as I've seen here today. Thank you, girls. And I do want to acknowledge a few people, and if I miss some, I apologise, because it is extremely important for all you out there to understand. A lot of times I hear our politicians never listen to us, they never hear us. I'm telling you right now, I've seen Trevor Tim, Councillor Tickner's here, Councillor Vallely's here. Councillor Moller called me this morning. He had another community engagement, but he said he's going to try to be. I haven't seen him. He might be here. You've got the Mayor of Cairns. I haven't seen the Mayor of Cairns at any of the rallies I've ever been to. You've got it. If I've missed Councillor Zeiger and any others that are here, I'm sorry I haven't seen you guys. But then you've got state representation. You've got Shane Knuth here, the member for Hill. You've got Bree James, member for Barron River, who's going to speak soon. Because we've also got from the state level, we've got some ministers here. Minister Gerber from Justice. The Minister for Justice is here. And I can tell you, there's a couple other ministers here, and I'm sorry, the names. And we've also got, obviously, Bob Catter. And we've even got a Senator, Senator James McGrath, has travelled all the way up here just for this. So, Senator McGrath, thank you. Guys, you organised this and you got their ear. We've got their ears, and I'm a politician elected too, guys. You got my bloody ear. I want to thank all you guys for turning up, because apathy, it's Sunday, it's a beautiful day, the reef's out there, the footy was on in Las Vegas this morning, there's lots of things you could have been at prioritised. You chose to be here. And I know that some of these girls are victims, obviously, of heinous crimes, and what's happened in the recent week is really triggered some negative emotions. I know there's people out there feeling the same thing. Have a look around you guys. Everyone here is on your side. We're sick of it too, and we're going to fight to stop this. And I personally know probably about 20 or 30 people I could name by name, and then there are another 100 people that have contacted me this week on iMessage, on telephone and everything else, email, that said I can't be there. Is there a petition? Is there anything else? I know about 50 or more people personally that would want to be here. I know every single person here knows between 3 and 6 people that could be here. We are the majority, even though we've only got a few thousand people here today on this beautiful Sunday in Cairns. I'm telling you, we've been the silent majority for too long. We've tolerated a lot, just waiting for change. And then obviously what happened a week ago was sparked. We're sick of it. I remember moving here in 1989 as a 12-year-old boy with my family. We grew up in the northern beaches of Cairns. It was idyllic, it was beautiful. I grew up in Clifton Beach, but Holloway's Beach where my mates live, that was a beautiful beachside suburb. I've got videos on my phone of just a couple of weeks ago, families living in fear like a war zone, with people saying, come on out here, we're effing going to stab you. And the police had that information, and these people have been terrorising, and you could go through every single suburb in Cairns, and then Townsville, Mount Isa, everywhere else, And as the Mayor clearly said, and as your signs say, enough is enough. Now, I'm telling you, I've talked to all my councillors, our colleagues and everything else, and tomorrow we are meeting with all the ministers, the state cabinet up here in Cairns. This will be top of the priority list that we're talking about. I've got to say, this new government that's just got in, they've only been there for a couple of months, not even 100 days yet. Every MP I've talked to, David Kempton, Terry James, Bree James, I spoke to the Premier twice this week on 2 different occasions. I'm telling you, mate, they're gutted. Their heart's been ripped out just like us, and they are hearing us loud and clear. They campaigned, as that gentleman before said, on fixing crime. I mean, I think the Premier actually said, if we don't fix it, I'll stand down. Don't vote me out, I'll stand down. And when I've spoken to him, I'm telling you, he is committed to make changes. Now, we've heard about a lot of the stuff going on. We all know, we're all here because we know what's been going on in our community, and we know it's not right. We're going to have a productive roundtable meeting just on crime tomorrow with the Premier. I don't know who else is going to be there. Maybe Deb Freckland, the Attorney General as well. I'm not sure. But it's a productive with ideas, whether it's mandatory minimum sentences, whether it's restorative justice. I know the member for Cook, David Kempton's got a great idea about putting a remand centre is to get these little buggers off the street. Mate, absolutely.
Sacking judges.
Taking decisions away from the magistrates. Raising minimum sentences. All these ideas will be on the table. I love the idea of the making it castle law or some hybrid of castle law. Children of mine, I know you guys all have families, and even if you've got your own, you should have the right to defend your property. Keep all this down, keep all the human condition down. What is it we're all really after? We just want, it's the pursuit of happiness. It's being able to live in a beautiful place like Cairns, tropical North Queensland, and raise a family, go to work, have a great job. When I come home in the afternoon to my refuge, my safe house, I should be able to walk there, I should be able to send my kids down the park. We all know this. The kids should be able to catch a bus to the shops out here and they're going to get stabbed. When these kids are stealing your cars, they're not just stealing your cars, they're stealing your freedoms. When they're assaulting your kids, they're assaulting your peace and tranquility. I honestly believe this new government, I've talked to a lot of the members, I honestly believe they are on our side. I am optimistic that we are going to get positive change. And one of the big questions I get from the community all the time, Olgie, what can I do? What can we do? And I've always said, send emails, pick up the phone, because I don't believe in vigilantism. I'm not saying that's coming. If this doesn't get fixed, that will come. But I don't think it'll get there. I don't think that's the right answer. But you know what we can do? And I would never ask anyone. To do something I'm not prepared to do myself. Here's what we need to do, guys. We are asking, and like I said, some of the ministers are here right now today. We are asking the ministers to make courageous decisions, because for whatever reason, with their predecessors, they went the exact opposite way. They weakened laws. We are going to ask them to fly in the face of whatever advice that last government got, and we're going to ask them to start thinking us and putting us first and our families first for whatever other reason. We need to give them the courage that if they make that decision, that we're going to back them. We need to back the people who back us. How do you do that? When they put up on Facebook or on Twitter or on X, they put up, here's one of the bills, here's one of the laws we're changing. Just go on there. Don't just give them a like. Say, well done. Thank God. We hear you. We really appreciate it. Give them your support if they make the decisions that we ask. We're asking for hard decisions, which I don't think are that hard. But obviously they must be, because other governments never made them. People haven't. I don't know how we got here. This beautiful place of Cairns should be the safest place on God's green earth.
John Howard did it.
Well, I'm not going to steal. I usually like throwing stones, but I'm here for a positive meeting. Honestly, guys, I'm optimistic that this state government's going to make changes. But if they do, please back them. Please support them and say thank you. I take my hat off to every single person that's here that made this a priority. You didn't choose apathy. You chose to come here and to have your voice. You don't want to be part of the silent majority. You want to be part of the very loud majority. And I'm really happy that you turned up and cleared your throats. Thank you so much, guys.
I promised sunrise. Making yourself available, so I've got to go.
We're just gonna hang on a second, Bob.
I'll come back.
Yeah, no, you're up next, mate. Don't go away. This is your chance. No, all good. If you want to speak, you're welcome. Come on up, mate. We've got the microphone. You're a living legend, mate. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming, Bob Catter. And here you go. It's yours.
Look, you know, if
if I've got a rage in my soul, I am entitled to it. I sat for 2 weeks with 400,000 people between Cairns and Ingham, captured. They couldn't get off the coast. What, for one tunnel? One tunnel. And there are people here representing the Liberal and Labor parties that cannot give us one tunnel. They found out they could give Brisbane 36 kilometres of tunnels, but North Queensland, none. You keep voting for Brisbane parties, then you'll get a Brisbane government. And you won't get any tunnels, you'll get bloody nothing. And do you think if this crime rate was on in Brisbane, that the first 100 days of this government would have done something? Of course they would have. Of course they would have. But it's here in North Queensland, right? And all the politicians have turned up today and they'll give you nice little speeches and then write down in your diary what they actually did. Because each of them voted against castle law 3 times. 3 I'm not going to provide $800,000 a year to look after these little bastards. I'm not going to build a $1,000 million jail. Neither is the government. Neither is the government. There's no room in the jails, so I don't want to use that Premier telling Fibby Webbies. But if he didn't know there was no jails to put him in, then he's pretty bloody ignorant. He was either ignorant or he was telling lies to us. But there's no jails to put him. Now we're going to put him in a jail. We're going to do what was the law in this country 200 years ago. We're going to send them
to the territory
700, 800 kilometres from here. They'll live in a tent. They live in a tent. I lived in a tent for 2 years defending my country. They'll live in a tent. If they want to run away, well, there's some cowpoxes out there might get having for lunch, but then you get a crocodile might have. I mean, the answers are there and they're clear. Castle law, you come into my house, you better be the one worried, not me. When we get older, you won't be going through all sorts of legal tribunals and in and out of involving jails and being looked after by the public. No, you'll be living in a tent in the middle of nowhere. They moved them 3 times in the Parliament, and 3 times the hypocrites that are here today voted against it. Thank you.
There's some diversity in the people speaking and the diversity in the crowd, which is really good to represent all the different people. So next up we've got Barron River MP Bree James.
First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for coming today. This is really, really important. I also want to say thank you to every single victim that spoke up today. I want to thank every victim that spoke to me when I door knocked thousands and thousands of doors during the campaign. I didn't step up for politics because I wanted to be a politician. I stepped up because I care about our community and I was sick to death of the crime happening in our region. Woo! This is actually the first time I've been down the lagoon and down the Esplanade in a long time because the crime is just outrageous sitting here, even down here on a Friday night. Our nurses can't even walk to and from work without even being safe in their vehicles. Our teachers aren't safe in their schools. Our families aren't safe in their homes. It is just enough. And I have heard you loud and clear, as has the LNP Chrysophouli government. This rot began 10 years ago when the former Labor government changed the laws and they watered down the Youth Criminal Justice Act, and they have created a generation of repeat youth offenders. There are 78 of them here in Cairns that just keep doing the wrong thing. We promised within our first 100 days of government that we would make adult time, adult crime law, and we did before Christmas, and it has been done. The crime that happened last Friday absolutely rocked every single person here. I know it broke everyone's heart, myself included, as a woman, as a mother, my husband's. It is just atrocious that happened in our community, and I know it has triggered a lot of rape victims in our community. I know it has triggered a lot of us that say, that could have been me.
Yes.
They will do adult time. If we didn't change the laws before Christmas, those kids would not be up for adult time, but they are up for adult time. That rape was a heinous crime, so they will be charged for that to the full length of the law.
Yes.
Breaking and entering is at the full weight of the law. Having a weapon, they are up for massive life sentences for what they have done to that. I was in Parliament. It was my second week in Parliament when we passed those laws. The Labor government, they were crying that we made these laws. They were angry. They pointed at me and said, shame on you for changing these laws. Exactly. I have no shame in what we have done, and this government will not stop. We will not weaken the laws. We will continue to make them stronger, and we are not done yet with fixing these laws. There is more to come. There will be a second tranche. There's going to be stronger knife crime laws with Jack's Law. There will be stronger. There will be a public sex register. So if you are a sex offender, and there is more to come. Everything is on the table. So if you have specific things that you think should change, you email us and you let us know.
Will you vote for castle law?
Look, everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. Castle law won't help a grandma in her house by herself. We need to fix the law. I want to thank everyone that shared their stories today. I want to thank these three beautiful women for standing up today and bringing us all together. And I'd like to finish today with a moment of silence for the terrible atrocity that happened in our community last Friday, but all of the terrible crimes that are happening in our community. So I ask you all to take a moment of silence now. Let's think of those victims. Let's send them love, and thank you all for showing up on a Sunday and for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up. Thanks to everybody else for coming here as well today, and I'm really happy that our leaders actually came to listen to us today. That means a lot to the community, to stop us from feeling like we're not being heard. We only had a matter of Monday, was it Monday that we started chatting on Facebook, don't know each other, and to get enough people here. We canvassed and walked all of town yesterday going door to door. It surprised us as we were walking how many people had no idea there was a rally today because of the amount of media we tried to get out there. But then again, I worked, I think, 6 days out of the 7, so I can imagine that not everybody does catch up with the news in the last week as well. So this is just the beginning. This is a small amount that we were able to reach in a small amount of time that didn't already have commitments. I heard so many people who wanted to be here today that weren't able to get here, and I'm sure that this crowd will grow because we're not going to back down. We're determined that we're going to fight and we're going to keep going until we know that the future victims are going to get looked after and that we're not going to feel that insulted, that we're not that important anymore. And we're going to do that for all the past victims that were ever made to feel like that. So there. Get Aaron to quickly come up and have a quick words with you guys. Obviously, there's follow-up stuff.
Excellent. Round of applause, everybody, for the girls. It's a great turnout. Thanks so much for coming, everybody. We wouldn't be able to do it, of course, without the girls standing up in courage and determination to get their story out there and to invite the community in to share their stories and to engage with the leaders of our community that can really make a difference on the floor of Parliament and also in the judicial system. So thank you so much for coming. I just wanted to do a segue here now as we're just going to wrap this up, and I just wanted to thank the team that have come together to actually make this happen as well. We're actually so proud and pleased to stand behind these girls. They're absolutely amazing. So you can see that the team behind us, we've got security and Cass. Just want to acknowledge her on the left. Without her, the police didn't allow us to do this event. So we wanted to make sure everybody was safe and that it was a peaceful event. The key message that I'd like to say in the segue, I think that Alyssa would like me to talk about, is the next event. The next event is actually happening at 3 o'clock, but it is actually a small event. It's not an event to have a massive crowd. So it's limited only to 50 people, and for those that have received an exclusive invitation to go to that event, you're able to come along and participate in that rally that's happening over at Brothers Leagues Club. So I just wanted to make that point very clearly, that Queensland Police Services have asked us specifically to limit the crowd over there for safety reasons. There's traffic and cars and all sorts of things over there. So we just want to make sure that we don't actually have an event over there that we don't want. So I just wanted to make that point clear and to say thanks so much everybody for coming. It's been a pleasure to support these girls.
Going to step up and have a speak, and I do know that personally he does get very involved with community stuff, so here's
and I'm just going to shorten my speech. I'm just going to shorten my speech because how's that? I'm going to shorten my speech because I know that everyone's about to move at this present moment, but I just want to say well done to Emily, Alyssa, Bryony, all the organisers, but also to the women speakers that got up and spoke here, because it's their guts, determination that's going to make a difference. And what we need is our politicians and our government to have a bit of guts and intestinal fortitude, and that's going to make meaningful change in Queensland. Now, I see the word castle law that's been out there. This is a policy that was put together by myself, Robbie Catter, Nick DeMetto and Bob Catter MP. We passionately believe in it, and it dates back to the 1688 Bill of Rights, that your home is your castle. And that if anyone enters your castle without authorisation, he's entering that home to cause harm. And that you have every right to defend yourself, your family and your possession. And if that criminal that comes in comes out second best, it's not your fault, because they should not be in that home in the first place. So to get meaningful change, we need to get castle law, because that is a deterrent, because we want to let those thugs know that if they break into your home, they could come out second death and they could die. is we've got, this is a good one, we've been pushing this and they won't take it up, and it's relocation sentencing. That is, send them out to remote locations with the flies, the crows, the heat, the dust. Teach them values, teach them how to build cattle yards, drive graders, front end loaders, how to muster cattle, and the police union basically coming back this policy because we know, because at this present moment 95% of those that go into the comes out of the detention centre commit crime within the first 12 months. So I'll say that again, 95% of those that come out of the Cleveland detention centre commit crime within the first 12 months. So with the relocation sentencing, the police union basically said, we know this will work because the last thing they want is to go out there and be put to work for 12 months and then come back and commit crime and break in your home to go back out there again. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish up. Okay, now, this was leaving on a good note. 3 months' time, things could change, and you start seeing the politicians and you start seeing the government relaxing. Keep punching them, keep up them, because we want to get this over the line. We want a safe community. Yes. So well done to everyone. Keep up the fight.
Yeah, and thank you all for all the victims for speaking. Hopefully we can get.
Did I mention I have no idea what I'm doing? Thanks for coming out. I appreciate not having to run back and forth for most of that.
Finish.